very good morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review reaching you live from our studios right here at High Impact Television. I am Oyinpriye Krumale. Now we are being joined by Dr. Adedayo Kayode. He's a political technocrat, joins us virtually from Lagos. Good morning and welcome to the newspaper review, Dr. Adedayo Kayode.
How are you today?
I'm fine. It's good to have you.
Yeah, nice being with us.
Yes, Dr. Kayode, on Monday this week, which is the 15th of November, the Lagos State panel on the NSAS protest submitted its report to the Lagos State government, and it has generated lots of attention locally and from outside the country. I believe you are conversant with what's been going on with regards to the release of the report, even though the government is awaiting the white paper at the moment. What's your take on it?
Yeah, first of all, let me once again commiserate with the families of people that lost their lives at that particular, during that particular scenario in the history of our country. Good enough, a judicial panel was set up, and I think all over the country they have rounded up and they have submitted their reports, and that of Lagos was submitted on Monday. Now, from that report, we have seen that number one, people died. A lot of people died. Whether we agree on the numbers or not, yes, some people died. Now, what I want to take out from that one is the Minister of Information at that time said nobody died, nobody was killed. But the judicial panel has proved him wrong. That means as the Minister of Education, he doesn't know his onions, he comes around, he just says things without getting real information.
Dr. Kayode, Kayode, now let's leave out what the minister said. Since the report is out now, let's talk about the report itself. So
it is part of the report.
Yes,
it's an evaluation of the report, because there's no way you will evaluate that report without translating it to what happened at that time. It's not possible. We cannot talk in isolation of that report. Now, the report also said compensations must be paid to some people. He analyzed that. But it is a pity. Nobody is looking at why, or how this kind of scenario will not happen again. Have you been able to look at that? No. Because if you have been looking at various evaluations since Monday, it's all about talking about what the judicial list is submitted and then the scenario. But then people have not been looking at why should this not happen again. Are you with me, Kumale?
I'm with you.
Now, if we want to say why should this not happen again, I will have to pin it on the Nigerian leaders that they should stop playing with the lives of Nigerian people. How do I mean? Let us go back to Chibok's girls. Let us also go back to Dachi boys. Madam Taraba said, the late Madam Taraba, he said if the government isn't careful at that time when he was having a problem with them, that it will still be as that's what happened as to Chibok's girls scenario. That it will open a can of worms. That means there was a kind of a political donation to what happened during the Chibok girls scenario. The same thing with Dachi boys. Look at again when some guys they said these guys are repentant and all that, and within 24 hours, government was able to come up with attires for those boys. Now, where am I going in this? When you also look at the issue that happened during this time, this NSAS issue, you are going to see some kind of political coloration there too. If we look at it deeply. But people have not been looking at it deeply. But then who suffered it? Who suffered it now? Do we have any of these government functionary children being killed?
Okay.
No.
Dr. Kayode.
Masses. The masses.
Okay,
So,
let's
people should now start saying, our leaders should stop playing politics with our lives.
Okay, Dr. Kayode. Now
Yes.
let's the reports, well, when it was revealed and when we start getting input from the report from different persons, it didn't cite political reasons. However, let's look at it from another perspective. What is in front of the Punch newspaper this morning says that when looking, if the white paper comes out and the decision of when the white paper comes out, which is going to be based on what informed decision is going to be taken, that Nigeria may be standing to undergo embargo on arms and military support from the United States of America. Could you please talk on that?
Yes. Before coming to that, Kumale, when we are doing evaluation, even though the panel did not come up with political donations to it, but some of us who are not privy to be there knows that there are some kind of political donations to it. Now, back to your question. Whether United States embargoes Nigeria on arms or not, those people that are bringing in arms to this country, they are buying it off the shelf. They are buying it off the shelf.
What do you mean by that?
And they know how they bring it in. So the issue is this. How do we cop that? It is not about one country or another putting embargo on Nigeria towards selling them arms and ammunition. It is beyond that. How have Nigerians been buying all these things off shelf? And which area of our border have they been coming in with all these things without being detected by our security agencies? These are the areas we need to focus to. These are the areas we need to focus on. So it is beyond embargoing Nigeria on the purchase of arms and ammunition.
Okay, now
let us look inwards.
Okay.
Who are these people? It is not you. It is not you or me. It is not we the people. It's also on the leadership. They are the one that has the power. There have been a lot of exchange of arms and ammunition at our ports. Has anybody been punished? No, these are issues that we need to look at.
Dr. Didaya Kayode, now you could remember vividly that this administration, with regards to fighting terrorism and insurgency, has times without a number caught those who are either working as facilitators or providing logistics for the insurgents, and even sometimes caught some of them who ferry weapons or who manufacture weapons locally and convey them to some of these terrorists in carrying out this dastardly act. The federal government has done that in times without number. Now, if we look at, my concern is Nigeria is currently facing a battle with insurgency. If we don't pray for an embargo to come from the powers that be, or military assistance that are giving military assistance to Nigeria, but if we put that side by side with what the country is currently facing with regards to fighting terrorism, where do you think we'll be heading?
You see, fighting terrorism is beyond buying, acquiring arms and ammunition. It's inclusive of identifying, arresting, prosecution, and punishing those people that have been fingered to be sponsors and then supporters of terrorist activities. To what extent have we been able to do this? Yes, we have been able to finger some people. Some people's names have been given to the federal government. What has happened to these people? Have they been prosecuted? Have they been found wanting? Have they been punished? So these are issues If we are going to be fighting terrorism, it is beyond acquiring arms and ammunition. It also involves intelligence gathering and intelligence usage. To what extent have we gone to that? So these are issues, Kumale, that I want us as Nigerians to address. If we can address this, then all these acts of terrorism will be eradicated or reduced minimally.
All right. Initially, when you started talking about the NSAS, what actually happened in NSAS protests and what we do in the future regarding this, what would you propose? What sort of advice would you give to the government if, for instance, if we have another form of era where young Nigerians will come out to express their dissenting opinion to the authorities? How would you expect the authorities to go about it in either quelling it or, reaching a negotiation with the people?
You see, before you can provide solution to this, we need to understand what happened at that period holistically. But because of our time, I wouldn't be able to express that holistically now. But in a short form, number one, government should ensure that democratic deliverables are delivered to the people. Because the moment we have dividends of democracy in all forms and ramifications, it's going to reduce this. It's going to reduce agitations. Two, people should also be ready to tell the government to stop playing politics with our lives. For us to have elected them into political positions does not mean that we don't know what we are doing. So they should stop playing politics with our lives. Again, if eventually such a thing should rise up again in future, government should look at what are the international standards and practices in suppressing such. Because either you like it or not, both our constitution and so many of those these things that we sign internationally allows for protest. For protest. So when there is a protest and it is a peaceful protest, there are ways to handle such. So if we can look at all this and then take what happened in October 2020 holistically, then I think government has a lot to learn, and then people also are having a lot to learn from.
Okay, what about in situations where we have the protests going off and you have unscrupulous elements hijacking the protest to commit some form of atrocities and criminal activities? What do you think would be the expectation from the law enforcement agencies and the security personnel?
So, in the first instance, for hijackers not to come in, the protesters themselves, they must be ready to protect their vision by not deviating from their demands. Then their demands also, protesters' demands also, must be genuine. I am talking from the background of the looter that some of us had participated in while we were in universities. We have never seen anybody hijacking it because we were very straightforward. We have our focus without deviating from it. But the moment you have a point of agitation, and then you are allowing some other things which are frivolities to adorn it, then there will be a problem. And that's why I said anybody coming out to protest should it away from the politicians, so that our leaders don't play politics with our lives. When you have a genuine cause and you are standing on it, then, I mean, there's no way Aja can see coming. So I will always advise Nigeria, whenever we have any point that we want to agitate upon, let us stay on our point of agitation. Don't let us allow politicians to bring in their own into it. You know, the moment we allow politicians to bring their own into it, you know the caliber of people that follow them. So definitely it will be like that.
Okay. Now, lastly, before I let you go, during protests, there are sometimes in Nigeria when some set of people wants to protest, there's this convention that has been taking place that the police would need to be informed for security purposes and for them to monitor the process, and sometimes that permission is not granted, even though the law has said in a democratic space people are allowed to protest. And what do you see? You know what I'm talking about, this particular scenario. Yes.
Let me also respond to this from the background of my experience. My organization, Coalition of Nigeria Street Leaders Forum.
Dr. Daide, you don't have to mention the name of your organization, please.
Am I advertising?
No, you don't have to mention it. You don't need to mention it. Just go on. Just go on with your perspective.
We had a convergence in Oyo State some time ago, and we went to the police commissioner of Oyo State. We said, this is what we are about to do at social time. We are not coming here for your permission. We are only coming here to get you informed. He said we should put it in writing, which we did. He said, are we sure nobody is coming to hijack it? I said, no. He said, do we need police protection? I said, no. And we did our thing. And fortunately, the commissioner even signed some people to come around and view whether there is going to be a problem or not. So if anybody wants to go on a protest, which is rightful anyway, you are bound to inform, not to take permission, inform the police. It's not for anything but because of, in case some people now want to use it to cause breakdown of law and order.
All right.
So that they can quickly intervene. It is not about taking permission. You have the right to organize yourself, to converge, to do anything. But at the same time, rights and lives of other people within that vicinity should also be considered.
All right.
Because they also have their rights.
Okay. All right, Dr. Adedayo Kayode, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. Adedayo Kayode is a political technocrat who joins us from Lagos this morning. Thank you very much for your perspective on issues.
Thank you for having me.
Many thanks for watching. You can send eyewitness report to info@highImpactStudios.com or direct messages as a feedback mechanism to all our social media platforms at ImpactTV and ImpactTV UK. I'm Oyin Priye Krumale.